So, what is a filler anyway? Well, a filler is a word that takes the place of a natural pause. Where at the end of a sentence or a thought, we are supposed to pause and give people an opportunity to take in what we have to say, that the filler takes that place and it bridges the gap between two thoughts. The challenge here is, as we know from the very first week, listening is really tough, and people listen up for the cue. When they hear that pause between one thought and the next, they will oftentimes listen back in to see what the next thought is. If you use a filler word, they don't know that there's a new thought coming, and so they think it's all one big happy thought, and they don't listen up and they miss a lot of the information that you're giving them. So fillers create a multitude of problems. The first is it takes the place of a natural pause that we use to help our listener cue in because they know we're giving them some new information. It can come across as you're lacking in comfort with whatever it is that you're talking about, or you're insecure about what you're talking about, and it can come across that you're very unpracticed. This isn't how you want to appear. You want to appear like you're confident and you know your material. So filler words are a real challenge. And let me introduce you to some of the common filler words that people use. The most common filler words are ah, so, and basically like, you know, and sometimes just the phrase it can also be a filler. But and ah are the most egregious because at least so and basically these are words, so they're not as bad, but and ah are really bad. When you do your pieces, I will identify if you have a filler. And likeliness is it's on this list. These are the common fillers that you hear all the time. So let's figure you have a filler. Probably about 50% of you will have a filler. Some of you won't. If you find that you have a filler, the first thing you need to do is to identify your filler word. I'll help you with that if I can. If I hear it, I will let you know. But you need to determine how bad is it. Are you saying it once in a great while, or are you saying it all the time? I had a student that in a minute and a half video said a filler over 50 times. That's a pretty bad filler. Every couple of words, she said the word ah, and it was very, very challenging. She's down to 6, but I can tell you she still struggles to get rid of that filler word. Once you get in the habit of having a filler, it can be very challenging to get rid of it. So you want to make sure if you've got it, we get rid of it and nip it in the bud now. You need to see where you are. You know, the likelihood is that those fillers are at the end of sentences or between thoughts. It's best if that's where they are because that's a lot easier to fix than when they're happening inside a sentence or in the middle of a sentence. If they are where a natural pause belongs, all we have to do is add a natural pause. You need to practice out loud. Practicing out loud makes it easier for you to hear it, and when you hear it, it makes it easier to eliminate. I want you to know that my filler word was so. I still hear it creep in every now and then, but it took me a long time to get rid of it. It didn't happen overnight, and it was somebody making me aware of the fact that I had it that helped me to get rid of it. Another way to get rid of it is to breathe, taking a breath, just taking in a breath, loving the silence, which is not easy for some of us to do, pausing, and then smiling. It is almost impossible to add a filler word when you smile. In addition, you can hear a smile when somebody does it in their speaking, and it's very infectious and very engaging. So if you can't do the pause and you can't breathe, at least add a smile. You need to have patience. Getting rid of your filler takes a lot of time. You got to keep at it. You got to see it as a process, not necessarily as something you can do in 1 minute. And you've got to record yourself. I mean, at the end of this class, you're going to have recorded yourself a few times, but you may not have gotten rid of your filler yet. So if you have a filler, and you may not be somebody that does, but if you have a filler, Continue to record yourself periodically and see if you hear that filler creeping back in. And good luck.